Welcome to the People's Guild.
Each week we explore the Splinterland universe with guests from all across the mythical land of Praetoria.
Join us on our journey as we discuss the evolution of the game, the strategy, the lore, and the exciting path that lies ahead.
To support the People's Guild, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and also check us out on PeakD, YouTube, and Twitter.
Send your questions, suggestions, and epic battles in our comments through Twitter or email at thepeoplesguildspl@gmail.com. We'll feature the best in our episodes and maybe airdrop you some prizes.
Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the People's Guild. Another week, another episode. Another wonderful guest that may or may not be familiar to you guys out there. He's one of the OGs of the People's Guild, founder, co-founder, however you want to call him. Wonderful to see you, man. Welcome back, Wascal. It's been way too long, brother.
Great to be back. I can't believe it's been nearly a year. I honestly thought it was like just maybe like half a year or something, but yeah, time flies. But yeah, it's been nice, man. I've been listening to I've been, we said off air, been quite busy, but I've been listening to the podcasts on and off, and yeah. See, Hep has slipped into the chair as easy as Lando Calrissian in the Millennium Falcon.
Nice.
Still working on my my smooth accent to kind of match up with you, but I don't think I'll ever get there.
I always think for me, maybe it's the British American thing, but I just always think like the American accent just sounds perfect for radio and podcasting. I don't know, do you guys think the British accent sounds better or something? But I always just feel like the American accent was just made for broadcasting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always this. I mean, maybe this is a thing, an American thing, where the British accent just sounds, so highbrow and proper, and this like conjures visions of kings and queens, but it's weird. It's interesting. I heard one time, I was like, one reason they for American audiences, like any type of like fantasy, a lot of like fantasy shows even will use people with British accents. And I heard someone explain it as, you can still understand it, but it's different enough that like it puts you in this whole other like mind space that you can more likely to believe things are unreal because, someone just doesn't sound like a regular mope like me. So, yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I think maybe just in recent years, right? Certain movies, and you got like Game of Thrones, the British accent has definitely been popularized, and I suppose like Harry Potter, and yeah.
So yeah, man. But happy New Year. What's did you have any, like, what's your favorite traditional New Year's dish that you guys kind of cook?
What I suppose I don't know, like we just have a mix of everything, but I suppose I don't know, just like there's just loads of just like beef and prawns, and we just every kind of meat on the plate. But I think it's just kind of, it's probably like, it's just I just related to back home. It's just Christmas time for the Taiwanese. Oh, that's the guy.
That's a new one.
That's going to get you in trouble somewhere. I'm not sure whether it's in China or Taiwan, but that'll probably get you in trouble somewhere.
Nice, man.
Taiwanese, I love that one. But yeah, it's just like a time, to meet up. But it's like Ben was saying, it's sometimes it just goes really quick over here. But like, to be honest, like trying to go anywhere, it's just madness, because you just get, you're just stuck in traffic jams, and it's kind of, I don't know it, but it's really hard for Taiwanese because this is the only time for many of them they actually do get vacation, right, Ben? Like lots of them they don't get vacations. So like Chinese New Year and public holidays, like bank holidays, it's just the time, and like just so that means just everyone has to go out. But it's quite funny because when you ask people where they're going for Chinese New Year, they'd say, "Oh, I'm not going out. Like the roads are too busy." But when you go on the roads, every man and his dog's on there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's really interesting. I think things have started to change over the years as more, like Google, Apple started coming into Taiwan, and it's Western owned, Western run businesses. So I think there is more of an existence of PTO than certainly when I was here, 10 years ago. But yeah, man, you're absolutely right. Everybody was kind of you can feel the burnout leading up to Chinese New Year, and everybody's just, kind of sluggishly moving to the finish line for that big break. And like you said, man, everyone I talked to that's saying they're going to stick around Tainan, and then yeah, I went out at 6:30 this morning to get Avia, my dog, a walk, and the roads are packed. I mean, I guess it is the last day of the official holiday, so folks are probably headed back home, that sort of stuff. But uh, yeah, vacation is hard to come by with
yeah.
the
Hopefully that will
traditional
change.
Taiwanese business culture.
But hopefully that will change because it's. I was speaking to my wife the other day, and it's only the past 20 years that they have got a proper 2-day weekend. So slowly
Mm.
catch the monkey, right? I think things are changing, but yeah, until they get to what we kind of um associate as the norm back home. I don't know, like 4 week holiday and paid sick leave. I don't know. Because, like over here as well, what people don't know is that sometimes you get like a 4-day weekend. It's like you get like the holidays on the Friday, Thursday. So they'll give you the Friday off. So then you have a 4-day weekend, which sounds great, right? But then you have to make it up on the Saturday after or the
Yeah,
Saturday before.
someone was just telling me about this the other day that Taiwan has like scheduled like working Saturdays.
Yeah,
There's like a couple out throughout the year. Yeah, I wanted to.
it's to
Yeah,
make
actually
up
wanted
for
to
the
ask you guys about
holidays.
that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, we've got one this weekend actually. So
Yeah.
Saturday is one of those days where the big wigs at the businesses have called in all the workforce, and schools or whatever that accommodate kids have had to adjust their schedules. So
Mm.
we won't be having classes Saturday, for example, but we will be having classes Sunday.
Yeah.
So
But
it's
the public
interesting.
schools will have classes on Saturday, right? Public schools
Right,
have to go.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting, man. I think, like you say, it things are changing, and I think as our generation starts to kind of inherit the higher up positions at these
Mm.
more traditional businesses, a lot of these folks, I think our generation definitely more so than, our parents' generation here, spent a lot of time overseas, studied overseas, and are therefore exposed to what kind of Western business culture is like. And I think as those positions are starting to be inherited, I think hopefully they start to extend the work-life balance philosophy that I guess somewhat exists more so in places like the States and the UK.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say. I mean, like you say Western, but the U.S. is very different from Europe, right? And the UK is probably different from places like Italy and France, and a lot of those European countries, you're getting you know huge amounts of time off. Yeah, you're getting like basically like like most of Italy is like closes down in August. It's like Ferragosto. You just have the month of all people have like take the month of August off, and yeah, we certainly U.S. is a little more draconian. I feel like we're getting a few holidays, and most people probably some people are even lucky to get like 2 weeks paid time off. So Yeah, yeah.
US.
There's,
Well,
there's
I think
in the US, yeah,
it's like a startup culture thing, right?
yeah.
Well, at least in the States, that's kind of embraced the European business model of extended periods of days off. When I first moved home in 2016, my first job, I couldn't believe it. Right out of the gate, I had 28 days of PTO.
Wow.
And then additionally, I had, paid sick days and that sort of stuff, plus holidays.
So every time you say PTO, I'm just thinking, please turn over. So what do you actually mean when you say PTO?
Paid time off.
Hey, time off.
Please turn over. What?
Where is that from, Wascal?
Didn't you used to write PTO at the bottom
Oh,
of your
that bad. You're talking about writing a letter?
Yeah.
Like a pen on a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Wow, man. Okay. Well, let me backtrack. When I say our generation, I guess I'm talking about me and him.
No, but like even on my homework worksheets, I write PTO on the bottom of it.
I have never heard that, not in my life.
Really?
Mm.
Just think about all those letters you used to write to your lady friends, Ben, and then like the second page, they just never got around to.
Missed opportunity, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
But yes, but like even like over here, there's like martial law, like not too long ago. Like you just weren't, I think you weren't allowed out past 9 o'clock. Is that right, Ben? Like
Oh, wow.
what, 10 o'clock? Like 20 something years ago. I remember I've spoken to youngish people, probably my generation, not your generation, but my generation, people still remember not being allowed out after 9 o'clock. So yeah,
Yeah.
times they are changing.
I was not aware of a 9 o'clock curfew. That's
Yeah.
especially in Taiwan. I feel like Taiwan has conditioned me to expect absolute convenience.
Mm.
Nowadays you can go out and get a full, steak dinner if you want at midnight, sort of thing. Where that's just non-existent in most parts of the world. I can't imagine Taiwan shutting down after 9 o'clock.
That's true, isn't it? Can you imagine just like, yeah, what we're so used to? Like, I'm coming back from wherever, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and you just think, I'm just ready to hit the sack, and people are just walking into restaurants. It's just, yeah, my mum and dad are over here at the moment, but dad just can't understand it. It's just like back home, like as soon as it hits 4 or 5 o'clock, it just becomes Sleepville.
Yeah, when the sun goes down, it's time to close up shop.
Yeah.
Time to
So
go home,
you said you
fire up the oil lamps, write your pen pal
Write
some letters.
write your letters.
So have you been going to Italy recently, or was that just it's just been so long since I've spoke that
Yeah, we went in end of June, beginning of July last year, to visit family, and I think that's kind of going to be what we do yearly now. My father-in-law is actually going with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law has to go over there for work in I think the end of March or middle of March, and my father-in-law is going to go, and they're going to go skiing. And so I was trying to see if we could finagle that, but I don't think it'll line up well with the kids' spring breaks and stuff. So I don't know if that'll be able to happen. Yeah, because my wife's family, they have, they grew up in the mountains kind of of Italy, and outside Torino, and she still has a bunch of family around there. A lot of them in Genoa now too, and they're gonna, they actually have like a small little condo thing on the Italian side of the Matterhorn. So yeah, it's pretty nice. But yeah, so I won't get to join for that. Yeah, I'm hoping we're gonna go next summer, and actually it looks like the first couple days of the Tour de France are going to be going through the northern part of Italy, around where a lot of her family lives. So we're really trying to plan that out. So I would love to check out a race. It just seems like something cool thing to be able to do, is say you did once, and just having it line up like that. It seems like I just got to try to do my best to make it happen, to go check it out.
I just started watching that um Tour de France documentary on Netflix.
Oh
Have
yeah,
you seen
that's
that?
awesome. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is it,
That's awesome.
Icarus?
No.
No, that was something a little different. This is it's like that Formula One show they have, and like the tennis show and football
Oh,
show. They
right.
just have
Okay.
like it's more like that. Yeah, it's
So
called
it's
like
like
Tour de
day in the
France
life.
Unchained. What's that?
It's like day in the life of particular
Yeah,
racers, sort of
they
thing.
follow like some of the bigger races around the couple of the biggest teams. They follow them around and like they're managers or coaches or whatever they're called, directors, sport directors, and yeah, it's kind of
It
like every
definitely doesn't it definitely paints the real picture, right? Like if anyone's like, like as you were a kid, you think, oh, I just really would love to kind of, you know, be a Tour de France like cyclist, blah blah blah, but only for the brave. Geez, like when
yeah
you're in is it Peloton?
yeah
Mamma mia, just like that is brutal, isn't it? Just like one little slip and it looks like they just hit the deck
yeah.
quite
There's
often.
not a lot of room there. Yeah, it's crazy too. It's one of those sports too where it's like you have to be born the right size. Like those guys are tiny. It's almost like they're almost like jockeys, but with giant calves. It's insane to see them walking. They're like guys are like 140 pounds, and they're like 40 of that's probably in their calves. It's nuts.
I just recently discovered that, and I never would have guessed it, that the Tour de France it attracts the highest viewership of any
Sporting.
sporting final. My initial assumption was the World Cup, 100%, but evidently it's the Tour de France. Maybe it's just duration and races every day, and yeah, I don't know.
You mean the total number, like when they add up all the viewers for the
Yeah,
full two?
it's the most viewed sporting final of
Yeah, I've heard that too.
all
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, it trumps the Olympics, the World Cup, all the American sports.
Well, yeah,
So
that's good,
you
man.
you gonna don a yellow jersey and hop on a little tricycle and try and
I've heard like I'm not super big into like, road bikes and stuff like that. Like I don't have like a big fancy expensive road bike like that or anything. My bike is fairly reasonable price and it's, more of just like a workhorse thing that I throw pannier racks and child seats on and basically use it as like more of a car than anything else. But I know I've heard that there are like companies will do where they'll kind of go behind the Tour de France and you could like rent road bikes and like do the course or do parts of the course like a day or two after they're there. So I don't know, maybe I'll look into that and then see. Yeah, who knows? That'd be fun.
Taiwan has some really good road biking. I used to do quite a bit of road biking back in the day, but
I bet
yeah,
because you guys have good like hills and mountains and stuff there for it, right?
yeah, amazing. I did a couple races, but I was just like, probably like you would be in the Tour de France. If I was going to do that, I'd just be hanging out the back, just kind of enjoying the views. But yeah, it's just stunning scenery. I just did a one recently, but it wasn't even a road bike. It was on my fold up bike. I did there's like Sun Moon Lake over here, and it's like just a short 30K. And but yeah, just it's just nice, man. Just kind of I enjoy just being on my own up in the mountains and hearing the monkeys and the birds waking up in the morning.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
awesome, man.
right. So with regards to Splinterlands, how are you guys feeling about the game, about the whole thing at the moment?
Hep, you want to go ahead and field that one first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think I think it's been going well. I'm kind of like focused on the Rebellion, the new set that came out and sort of learning that and playing the game. And I think, there's some good cards and it's been fun and there's a lot of sort of renewed energy around that. Um, I think, with the way things have been going, it's been good. I've kind of stayed out of the proposals, like to rework into the tournament system, and that's kind of on purpose. I'm sure we have we'll have some guests on soon that'll know more about that and way more involved in that. And I'll kind of, dive into that a little bit to talk to them. But yeah, I think it's been going well. I mean, land is what I expected land to be. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. I think it's great. I think, yeah, since last time we talked, it's been a while, but yeah, the new kind of change in direction with that, whether it's, not saying that, it's good to get to have Aggie go off and worry about the other things and just have it be mad. I think just kind of having sort of everybody kind of focused on Splinterlands and kind of that dividing up the team there. So you never kind of wonder who's working on what, or they, what are they spending their time on, kind of having that dedicated team that people are kind of focused on working on the game. I think that's been, a big positive. And yeah, I think things have been going great.
In terms of land, is that kind of where you feel like most happiest, like with the game at the moment? Like, is that the one that you're focusing more on, or you're able to do a bit of both?
No, I mean, so land, I don't even have all of my plots in one area kind of working. I definitely don't have it like optimized because it's one of those things where, I, I maybe should have devoted more to worrying about it beforehand and when prices were lower for cards and stuff. But I kind of just wanted to focus on Rebellion and I've kind of just been spending some money there as opposed to kind of doing both. And so, yeah, I kind of knew land was going to be one of those things where like once you kind of got it, or at least for me, once I got it kind of set up to a point where I thought I was getting, a decent kind of like return on it, that I just wouldn't really worry about it except hit harvest on peak monsters, a couple times a week, just harvest, my grain and my SBS. And I have some other plots that are just clearing that I'll probably set up some research points for. So yeah, to me, I don't really pay much attention to it at all.
Mm.
Whereas opposed to just, yeah, focus more on ranked battles and brawls. I know like you at one time we had talked and you said you were gonna kind of just focus on land, and did that change for you or do you have your land working? Did you have it set up?
Yeah, I've got my land working. I was kind of like me and Ben went out a few weeks ago, and I was kind of I think I had all my land up for sale. Like I probably go into a little bit more as well later, but like I just feel that lots of things are moving. I'm just really interested in like the Solana ecosystem, and I just really, I've been a strong believer in Solana for a long time, and so I just sold quite a lot of my land. Like a lot, as in I think four plots. I unstaked. I sold some of my SPS and just threw it into Solana, and then I went out for a couple of drinks with Ben and beach angles and down by the beach over a fire, and then he sold me. Just because I've been out of the game, I haven't been able to. I've been listening bits and bobs, but it's hard if you're kind of not in the whole ecosystem, or I'm not be able to kind of listen in on Discord and speak to people. But yeah. So it was just after sorry, what's his name? He's like the big landowner you recently had
Azurcon.
on Azukon, yeah. So I listened to that podcast, and yeah, definitely that was a something that definitely gave me food for thought regarding land. So luckily I'm happy now. My occupied didn't sell. I had someone asking me about it, but just didn't happen. So I've kept my occupied, and to be honest, I'm kind of, but I've got, I threw everything at that one. I've got like my Rooney on there. I've got, a few gold cards, or pretty much all gold cards, but, commons and rares. So that's earning me like 24 SPS, I think, a day. But that's kind of obviously the most because it's occupied. So I'm kind of happy with that. And I'm definitely keeping my eye on occupied. I just think I just very interested in just buying occupied if the situation arises just due to its rarity. So I think I've got in total 5 plots left now. I kind of sold them and then I kind of ended up buying more after I'd sold just to kind of help with the production and grain that was needed. So yeah, that's what I'm mainly focusing on now. I've still got my the Xbox rolling and doing great things in Diamond. So yeah, that's where I am now.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, to answer your earlier question, Wascal, I think the game is in uh, a really unique position going into this year, and I was really happy to hear Yaba and Co. kind of share and everybody subsequently echo the idea of focusing on not just new user experience, but user experience as kind of the that's the key focal point for the rest of 2024. And we started doing, I don't know if you've seen it, Wasco, but we started doing like a little battle royale challenge strategy talk, just shoot the breeze sort of thing. And Joey, Breaking Benjamin, the narrative lead,
Yeah,
ended up hopping on yesterday and was talking
yeah,
about, he didn't drop any necessarily alpha, but he did give some insights into what is happening at the team at the moment, and it sounds like the ranked overhaul. Um, I don't know if you're aware of what the game plan is with that, Wasco, but it sounds like that is already starting to get play tested. So what is essentially happening, and for you and for anybody else who's unaware, the league caps are getting removed, the leagues are getting removed, and essentially if you've got like a maxed out Lux Vega or something at bronze or novice, you can play that card to its full capacity. Therefore, you're able to play max level cards associated with that. And obviously the escape velocity out of something like novice level rating is going to be much faster.
mhm,
So yeah, I think there's a lot of good things that are coming down the pipeline. All of that said, I think in the grand scheme of what's happening with Steam Monsters, so that includes Invinium and Arcade Colony and what Aggie's doing with Moon Carts. Um, we saw Foyer, shout out to Foyer or Rooney 207, asking about Arcade Colony and what's the general sentiment. And I think, it was some good food for thought, and I think he's definitely onto something with respect to his perspective that Arcade Colony is going to be the biggest potential winner of what Steam Monsters is bringing to the table. And I don't think objectively, I don't think there's any arguing that it's you play Moon Carts out of the box and it's immediately accessible to everybody. You need to know how to turn, you need to know how to go forward, and that's it. It's a fun, immediately accessible game, whereas Splinterlands is much more nuanced and it's challenging, and it attracts a particular demographic. And but it all of that stuff is going to be living on the Hive ecosystem, which I think indirectly benefits something like Splinterlands. So yeah, I think like Hep said, I've been super excited about Rebellion. I think the gameplay is at an all-time high in terms of fun factor. Uh, and again, accessibility is there for something like Rebellion. You can immediately go in, buy packs and have access to the full range of what's available in modern. Yeah, so it's an exciting time. It's interesting. Obviously we're still dealing with uh lingering side effects of the bear and that sort of stuff. And of course, it would be nice to see SPS on a much more clear upward trajectory. But I think we'll get there. I'm feeling positive. I'm hopeful about it.
What do you think? Like, if you were a new player coming into Splinterlands, like how would they go about doing it? Like, is it um like are the cards cheap enough now? Do you think? I suppose the Chaos Legion are going to be still quite cheap, right? Do you think it's like set up for a new player to kind of come in and just have a basic kind of pack, basic selection of cards to kind of start earning?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think with the level that the rewards are at in modern right now, and the low entry point for the Chaos Legion cards,
Mm.
and we discussed this with Call Me Tim the other day, and talked about how the Rebellion set wasn't really designed to kind of like overpower everything else, right? It's not like necessarily like the Untamed or Dice set where it kind of came in and just like completely changed the game. It was made to mesh with the Chaos Legion, and I think you could, and I'm sure there is a lot of people who have only a few rebellion cards, or maybe something. I'm sure there are some that have no rebellion cards that you can have a pretty good win percentage and earn some decent rewards with just Chaos Legion. I'm sure the rental prices are still super low for Chaos Legion as well. So yeah, I mean, for someone to come in and want to even like rent cards, if they could kind of figure that out to try the game out, or to get Chaos Legion cards, I think yeah, the price entry point is still really great. Yeah, and I think yeah, with the rewards you're getting, it'd be fun.
Works itself out. So
Yeah.
like with the new overhaul of the ranked play, so basically you the new player could just level themselves like go up through the leagues fairly easy, fairly quickly.
It's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, not going to have. Apparently, they're going to rework it so it's not so hard once you get to the top of a league to then break out of it. Like for example, Jangles and I were talking about this last week. At the beginning of this season, where I was like, maybe I'll try, pushing up into Diamond, and kind of, getting some, because like my end of season chests last season were not good. I did not have much luck there. So I was like, maybe I should just try to push up again and get into, Diamond, and just try to see what it's like to get some Diamond chests next season. But honestly, like I probably, if I had been able to devote, if I wasn't sick yesterday and had been able to devote more time yesterday playing, I maybe could have gotten to the level to get into Diamond. But otherwise, I wasn't really close at all season long to be able to get there. And so there is kind of this, without the bots in modern, there is this issue with liquidity with matches, and then the way it starts to be, where once you get up into the higher tiers, it's like you know how it goes, where you lose one and you drop down a lot, and winning gets you very little. And even in the leaderboard in gold, it's you're probably halfway through the season before even the top 5 people have enough um points to be able to get into diamond. So it's hard. It's hard to even move up that level if you wanted to. So yeah, it's gonna kind of eliminate that sticking point. I feel like that's what I think it'll do the best of. It'll kind of eliminate that sticking point for better or for worse, whether you want it or not. Like it'll be easier to kind of move up and play against people with higher cap cards.
Mm. So
Yeah,
what are you gonna say, Ben?
Yeah, similar to Hep, I think I think it was our conversation with Yaba where he said uh shared the idea that you know his ideal is that you play until and you climb the ranks until you're sitting around a 50-50 win rate, a 50% win rate. So I think the really good guys that are really skilled players that are sitting at the top of gold, maybe they'll be able to play with a max deck for gold, up around, maybe where currently we're seeing like middle of diamond sort of thing. And then you kind of cap out at that 50% win rate. And then obviously if you're win one, lose one, it's tough to to add rating from there. Um, but yeah, I think it's in a whole slew of different ways. I think it's going to be great for uh the ranked experience. And it sounds like it's closer than I think most people are giving credit for. Um, if Joey was
Yeah.
comfortable and confident in saying that it's something that's already making its way into the test servers internally, that gives me some hope that it's coming soon. And something else that Joey talked about that I think was really interesting, and I think back to, it's been, geez, 2 years since I started playing. And Wascal, I think you did a good job of kind of like, holding my hand, leading me through what does it look like to navigate Hive and Hive Engine, and what is Hive Engine, and how do you swap out tokens? Because at that point in time, I was really uh, completely uninitiated to all things crypto, and something that Joey called out yesterday that I think is really interesting and potentially meaningful for new users moving forward, and possibly even existing users, is the academy side of what the user experience looks like. So we've seen we've caught glimpses of what the academy could look like with conflicts. So there's like a little open book icon on the screen that you can click, and it will give you the who's who and the what's what on this particular page. And evidently the plan is to expand that to not only just the user experience within the website, but especially for the new users coming in. And evidently there's a big piece that's going to be built around the tokenomics side, which I think is a really big speed bump for a lot of folks coming into Splinterlands, because it's not intuitive to figure out, how do I send tokens to Hive Engine? How do I, once they get onto Hive Engine, what do I, how do I navigate this thing? So I think they're taking a very well-rounded, thorough approach to revamping this whole user experience. And I was excited to hear Joey call that out as a specific piece that the team is working on. So yeah, it's things are moving in the right direction, man.
It's good that they are, I always used to hear, oh, we need to get the new users, but it's really important to keep the current crop of users, right? And they within the past year, Splinterlands has lost you know, some main people within the game, and you know, like I watched the beginning of the stream yesterday, and it's just great to see like all these people that have been in the game for a long time, and they're the kind of the reason why Splinterlands is still here, really, isn't it? Because they're still pumping the money in, they're buying the rebellion packs, they're putting all, like this is like another thing with land, right? It's like which is probably another good question to ask, is like, and going back to what I was about to say, is that, to start a plot, it's not cheap, is it? So, and like you've got all these guys just kind of like really heavily focused. You got Gank, you got Steva, you've got yeah, and, just there's like loads of people. And I wonder, like another question is like, how people gonna start to get into land? Because like from someone who's been in the game for a while, to make it profitable, like, from the outset, you need to stake 50 for, is it 50,000 DEC, which is 50 US. You need to buy the property, but buy the plots. And the plots seem to be going up in definitely some regions for sure, right? Like a plot in like our review where I'm looking, it's like for a common plot, it's like $70, right? I
Wow.
suppose you don't need to, and I think they're going for a lot less in other places, but Yeah, I wonder like how that someone who wants to come into land, and I remember like a while ago, like when you speak to Aggie and they want to kind of, help people all around the world and give them another kind of revenue. But do you think land is it's possible for people to, from, you know, third world countries, like to kind of like get on that train?
I think it's, there's a couple of key pieces that I think need to come into fruition for that to happen. One is something like land surfing, where you
Mm.
don't have to pay the 50K DEC to get your plot up and running. You don't need to buy a plot, um, that sort of thing. So I think land surfing is a piece that would help with that. And two is I think it's the Ancient Ruins project where, uh, landowner or not, you can come in and stake monster cards, to contribute to, uncovering and then constructing this ancient ruins
Oh.
thing. And you're going to see benefit. I don't remember. Do you remember what is the reward for that? Is it SPS? Is it research?
SPF and more research tokens. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's. I've heard a definite answer on that. I mean,
Yeah.
they might be finalized, but I think it is one of those things with land too, where it's um, there's a lot of ideas with what they want to do with it, and we're just not sure, what it will ultimately look like or when we'll get there. But
Yeah.
When is
yeah,
Well,
when is crowd surfing gonna be up and running? Is that
well,
one of
that's the
those ones?
$1 million question, Wascal.
yeah. Sometime
Yeah.
after the grain LPs
LPs.
get up,
Yeah.
LPs are kind of the next thing, according to Matt, that they're looking at setting up. Yeah, I mean, it'll be a while, but yeah, I agree with that. What Django said, that it's, yeah, that'll be a way for people to contribute if they kind of, maybe we'll get to a point where if there's maybe the demand for it, they'll find a way that you could do that stuff with rented cards as well to kind of, then increase the rental market, where people can, maybe want to rent out cards and people can then try to take those cards and get SPS. If people are more comfortable with, renting their cards and just trying to go about doing that themselves on land. So yeah, I think we'll see. And I think, yeah, I think that, the gameplay is kind of always there too, right? And there'll be different aspects of the gameplay that, hopefully people can kind of have fun with and earn rewards and be a part of the ecosystem as well.
I suppose it's just that fine balance, isn't it? Like, you know, like everyone wants like new players to come in, and but then it's like how do you get new players? And I always said the way to get new players is they people, this is the world, right? People want to make money. This is it, right? Like, you look at what's happening in Solana, things are just kicking off all over the place, and just like like 10,000% returns, and some coins, obviously you got to get them way off a couple of months ago or something. But just this is what people are mainly focused on: meme coins, bonk, and you've got what's another one, like another one that's just come out called When. And this is what Splinterlands probably has to do. Like that, it has to show the outside world that you can get money, but at the same time, will that bring in the right people? And that's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? You want
Yeah.
people to come in and stay in and just like add something to the ecosystem, what you guys are doing. And like I see all these guys yesterday, but yeah, what would it take, like even like for SPS to grow? And it's a difficult one because I just think land is such a great idea, isn't it? And you can if people were able to kind of make you know, just a little bit where they just feels like, wow, I can put this towards like the Team PH were doing, like, like that's what the whole thing was, right? What, to kind of give people that bowl of rice a day. It's just a bag of rice a day. But yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, you look at returns that you see on those sort of those meme coins, a lot of that stuff, and you got to remember too that as many people who are making money, there's probably 100 times as many, 1,000 times as many people who are
Yeah.
losing money, right? Like those things, don't really, have anything, you know what I mean? So it's, to get those prices up that high, people have to be, buying and buying, and then, and when you see a lot of those numbers and returns, like, yeah, it was this thing was originally listed at, X price, but it's like, well, who bought it at that price? Like the four
Yeah.
people who came up with it and started to then push it to market it, and then who bought it at a little bit higher, like their friends and people they knew that, or something like that, and then they start to market it, and the price goes up and up, and they're like, oh yeah, people have made 100x on this already, and then it's it goes up higher, but then people buy at the top and it crashes out, and
Well,
that's
when you hear about it, then it's too late, right?
right. Yeah, as
Mm.
soon as you hear about it, it's already way too late, right? Yeah, exactly. So I
But
think that's
but there are things definitely happen on, for example, the Solana ecosystem that I think have definitely got legs. I'm not just the meme coins, but there's just a few AI plays, and I think like I'm in a few groups where yeah, these companies and projects are doing really amazing things, and they're just disrupting. But that's the main reason why they have these groups that I'm in is just people want to make money, and
yeah.
I just feel I don't know. It's just like people are happy. I think I wonder what it is though. Like the minority are very happy just to play the game and get a little bit, or the majority would be happy. I feel like the minority of people would be happy just to keep chugging along, and like I'm sure like Ben and you guys are thinking, people like you are thinking the long term game, right? But the majority of people just want to see that 1,000 X's.
But yeah, I mean, but those things are, I mean, this game has shown kind of that, in a certain respect, it did do that at one point. But it's still here and it's still getting better. A year from now, 2 years from now, how many of those projects, I mean, look at the last bull run cycle where, yeah, there's all these things that were people talked about that they were going to do this with the
Yeah.
blockchain, that with the blockchain, it was going to be disruptive, and it would all seem great ideas, and but it just didn't go anywhere. You had, when the bear market hit, there was, those sort of things have died out, and will they come back, or will people jump to the next new thing? Who knows? Probably people jump to the next new thing, right? But I think Splinterlands has shown that it can be here for the long haul, and I think that's a powerful message. Like, not only do they have a good game, they kind of have figured out the economics of it, and they've shown that they're here. The team is out there all the time. They're out there, town halls, coming on our podcast, going on other people's streams and stuff. You know who they are. It's one of those things where if I was looking at games to get into today, I would, even knowing all the, what I knew that's come before, like, I would think this is still one of the best places to be, just because it has been around for so long, and it does have that community, and it's not brand new, and it might not be the shiniest toy from a gameplay example, but I don't know. I mean, I've just seen so many things that they start off so strong out of the gate, and then they just slowly go down and down and
Fizzle.
down and down and down, yeah, and they fizzle out. I mean, we've seen that a number of games in the Hive ecosystem. We've seen that from, games from all over the place. So yeah, I feel like Splinterlands does have a good long haul, and then they're probably not going to make anybody super rich, in the maybe in the next bull, maybe once the bull run that we're in starts to really take off, I think we're definitely have a ways to go for that. But maybe it does attract a bunch of new people, and asset values do get really high again. But maybe not, and maybe it just goes on like this for a while. And I think either one would be okay, because I think that it shows that it has that longevity, it has the group of people behind it, not only just in the community but in the team. And I think we will see growth. I think we'll see pretty good growth. The way they want to handle things and what they have planned. So, I'm definitely optimistic on. I'm not optimistic that I'm gonna get rich off this game, in the next 2 years or year or two, but I'm optimistic that, in the long run, it's gonna be, you know, here, and I think ultimately that will lead to, and I think they're going to keep improving. I think ultimately that will lead to more and more people joining the game and staying with the game. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that ultimately that'll cause SPS to go up, but who knows? But I think, if those things happen, then that's likely. So we'll
Well, it
see.
has to, right? I mean, with every new player that we get that comes in and sticks, that's more SPS off the table for everybody else.
Yeah, but we have a print rate, and we have, people who
Sure,
are always selling.
Yeah.
So what things are like when the printing of SPS, that I think that'll be really interesting part, where do we move to with rewards for ranked battles? What state is land in at that point? Once there's sort of that inherent downward pressure of the print rate removed, yeah, I think that's the
Different
big
ball
part
game.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's crazy. I think it's really good to show with the print rate we have. I think even though the price has fluctuated some, but I mean, it's shown some stability and resilience at certain price levels. With the print rate we have, I think that's very good.
When is the print rate due to stop? Is it like a good 3-something years or?
Did they have, it wasn't an exact date. I have to go back and read the white paper. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know if it was an exact date or if it was just like we have X amount set aside for this and this over a certain time period. I'm
So
not 100% sure.
we're at 44.5% minted. So whatever. Yeah, I think the distribution began through ranked last, I guess it was about a year ago when they removed DEC from being the primary token to be rewarded and issued in SPS as what was being rewarded, and the pool decreases or the distribution decreases 1% every month. Yeah, so I think in total it was a 5-year distribution, right? And I guess SPS started about 2 years ago.
That'd be so cool. I mean, just interesting just to think, like you said, Hep, like what will happen to SPS and the game once that is finished. It would just be interesting to see what does happen to SPS.
Well, I think Wascal, you called out something really critical, and it's really about retention moving forward, right? And I think you and your situation is kind of the primary case study because you came in right before Chaos Legion took off, right before Chaos Legion was issued, and there were all these disillusions going around of, okay, I buy packs, and we've seen it happen time and time again with Alpha, Untamed, Beta. These packs do nothing but appreciate once they sell out. Well, enter Chaos Legion and all of these 15 million packs, and I think we've got still almost 3 million packs floating around on secondary markets. They're going for under $1. I think there are bits and pieces that the team is planning to kind of address that issue, and I think Rebellion serves as kind of a great reset for what do the economics of pack sales look like moving forward. But for, gosh, I would guess probably until Chaos Legion exits Modern, we're going to continue paying for the sins of what did the Chaos Legion sale look like. But the retention piece is really interesting because the Chaos Legion era folks, the guys that came in, and I remember when I first started Queen Mycelia, Bakjira, they were going for 15, $20 a piece. And now all of those cards, you can, I don't even want to look at what a max Chaos Legion set costs. But when I first started, it was $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for a max Chaos Legion set. I would guess it's probably 30% of that, maybe 40% of that. So
I would think it's got to be half that at least.
Yeah,
like you said, because like look at those cards. Like the Bakjira is probably on the market for
$5,
$6, right?
Yeah. So it's really interesting because Chaos Legion served as an interesting milestone for Splinterlands when it came in. I think it directly correlated with the biggest influx of players or accounts. I don't think it's 1-to-1 there. Well, I know it's not 1-to-1 because we've seen what has happened since the bot ban. But the folks that came in with the disillusion that everything that I buy now is going to be 2, 3, 5, 10x in value once Chaos Legion exits markets and is sold out from shelves. A lot of folks got burned. There's still folks sitting on thousands of packs, kind of waiting for the day that Chaos Legion actually has value. And if like I said, I think Rebellion serves as a great reset. And until we completely solve the issue, if we're ever able to solve the issue of Chaos Legion, folks are going to continue to have a bit of a bitter taste, and justifiably so. You're 100% part of that group, Wascal, as are all of us. I won't call it out on air, but go ahead.
No, I just think but for me personally, I'm just taking full responsibility for that myself, right? I think at the time, I was just seeing dollar signs whenever I thought about Splintlands, but it's my fault for not kind of looking at the market and just seeing how the lay of the land lay, if that's a phrase, well, it is now. I think everyone has to take responsibility, right? Like no one was. I don't think. Yeah, okay. People were telling people, like the value
This
of
is going
what.
to happen.
Yeah, but you might have to just go down to the local pub and just get their advice, right? It's like it's just opinions, but people like me, I just believed people's opinions, but but that's what I mean. Like it's like anything. When you buy Bitcoin, when you buy Solana, I do the proper research, and I should have been doing the proper research at the time. I think I bought 500 packs I was just thinking I was going to be able to. I don't know what I was planning on doing with the money, but I know I was planning on doing something good with the money from all the profits I'll be making from Chaos Legion. But
I mean, whether you accept responsibility or not, the team, and not to throw the team under the bus, but they didn't deliver what they should have, right? They overexerted and going, I think it was 1.5 million packs of Untamed to 10x 15 million packs of Chaos Legion. There was no correlation with the demands for providing that. And obviously hindsight's 2020, but the much more calculated approach that we're seeing with something like Rebellion, I think bodes really well for all of those opinions and pieces of advice that you received prior to Chaos Legion actually coming into existence post Rebellion as well.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's definitely a good point that we've seen a lot of people leave, but and some of those were people who have been around from the beginning and wanted to get out, didn't like where the game was going. But a number of the people who left are probably people who came in around Chaos Legion and were expecting bigger returns. But if people come in with maybe more realistic expectations, maybe they're also more likely to stick around or less likely to leave, because I don't think there's that there certainly wasn't that expectation with Rebellion, right? We didn't hear this. You better buy all these packs now because we're in the bull market, beginning of the bull market, and all of a sudden, these things don't you look at the big jumps in crypto and they don't happen slowly over long periods of time. They happen, in these big jumps that are in a couple days, and then all of a sudden there's not going to be enough rebellion packs around, and everybody's going to have to
Hep,
push and
whose voice are you
shove.
whose voice are you channeling here? Well, it was
Right?
a
I mean,
it was a dead giveaway with that last line, but
yeah, you had to get. I was getting there just to make it clear who I am, but no, but I mean, right? Like that's we heard that a lot. We heard that sort of refrain more than once. And yeah, I think we're not hearing that now. We're hearing a more calculated approach with, this is what we're doing to make the game better. This is what we're doing to make sure that new players have a better experience. This is what we're doing to make sure that new players are more engaged. And all players are all players are. I keep saying new players because feel like people who are here now are people who are probably sticking around. But all players have a better experience. All players feel more engaged. We're going to add, more things to guilds. We're going to add more things to land. We're going to add more things to, the gameplay. And it's, those things hopefully translate, right? Those things hopefully translate to people who want to stay.
Yeah. Well, like maybe I think and someone was talking about this the other day, and maybe those 15 million packs could have sold, or they could have gone up in price, but we have to remember at that time we had the big, because things were just like fucking just going up and up and up, right? I was on that moon bus, but like FTX happened, Celsius happened, and they were big contributing factors in that bull run, because maybe, like someone said, if it wasn't for FTX, or they believe that FTX stole like the bull run from us, maybe, like, who knows what would have happened if FTX didn't happen. I know it's hindsight, and it didn't
FTX and
happen.
Terra. Yeah, I mean, in a certain sense, those things made the bear market a lot worse than what it was, right? But like if everything was just going up and up forever, like those things wouldn't have happened, right? Like Terra would have never, maybe Terra would have depegged because it was a bad idea in hindsight anyway. But maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe you just have so much new money coming into it that it doesn't really depeg. FTX doesn't collapse if people just keep pouring more and more money into it, because that hides when you have enough money coming in. No one, you can't see the Ponzi scheme, right? Because no one's
Yeah,
trying to take money out of it.
yeah.
So I mean,
But
those things happen. They were gonna, they wouldn't have made it as bad. But I don't think they necessarily stole it. I mean, it's just, these things, they're going to go, everything goes in cycles. The economy goes, every economy goes in cycles. Life goes in cycles. Politics goes in cycles. I mean, who was it? I remember someone was talking about, here. I don't know if it was Rogue or who was it that was talking about that book, The Fourth Turning. Um, I don't know if you guys remember that.
was it Joey?
It wasn't Joey. It wasn't Joey. I feel like it was either Rogue the first time he was on, or what's that? Or maybe it was somebody. Maybe it was one of the Philippines guys, like Mango or something.
Yeah,
Was Mango? Yeah.
I think it just rings a bell. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I read that book and it like completely changed how I view the world. And the guy actually just came out with an updated book this July with The Fourth Turning is Here, and I read that one as well, and it was phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, it just talks about how all these things in life are cycles, and these things happen. Like things go up and things go down, but we are kind of programmed to think linearly, right? We're kind of the way we're kind of raised, and the way, especially a lot of like Western civilization is, you always want to kind of extrapolate on what's happened recently and say, all right, well, this is what it's going to look like from now. And I'm sure they looked at, the demand from, they probably just didn't come up with 15 million Chaos Legion packs. They probably looked at how the demand grew from alpha to beta to untamed and said, okay, if the demand continues to grow this much over X amount of time, then 15 million packs of Chaos Legion will be great, and they'll sell out in a year, and then the price will go up because more and more people keep coming. But you have to look at the fact that there's gonna be downsides to everything. So yeah, I that's what I think. I don't think it's these there's always, especially like if you look at get back to what I was really originally talking about, if you look at crypto and you see these big swings because it has such a huge beta to the other investments. And yeah, I mean these swings are going to happen, and maybe now that there's things there to start stabilizing it out, things like the new ETFs that are, people aren't going to be as likely probably to want to sell that or pull their money out, or there'll be some more stability to it because it's becoming a more accepted asset class. Then yeah, I mean, maybe those things start to lessen, but like with everything, there's going to be ups and downs, and sometimes things make downs worse, but they're typically things that happen because the downs were already coming and we're already on the downslope.
Yeah, someone also said the other day, like when the first gold ETFs came, it continually went up for like 8 years. So that could be they were just projecting that could happen with these ETFs as well. Yeah, but it's just that's what I mean. Never know, right? Never know. But yeah, but I think like going back to what you were saying as well, Ben. I think maybe definitely in the new Rebellion, I think it just makes cards rarer, and that's just more likely for the prices to rise and provide stability in prices. I know it's only just come out, but I think for me, just it's like anything, isn't it? If it's rare, it's I just think it's a great thing.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, we were talking about it yesterday, because we saw as soon as Rebellion hit, obviously Untamed exited Modern, and the associated prices plummeted. The real players just have no interest in continuing to hold those cards, and if you can't play with them. And an interesting, I don't know if I had ever heard it before, but I had definitely heard the prospect of introducing a third league into ranked, but I don't think I had ever heard it positioned quite this way. And the talk was a vintage league. So essentially the idea is any card that is not available to play in the current modern would be part of vintage. So therefore, when Chaos Legion, so right now a vintage league would include everything up to Untamed. Chaos Legion and Rebellion would be non-playable in this league, and it was just an interesting approach to, how do you continue and maintain the value of cards once they exit Modern. Had you guys heard talk around something like this vintage or legacy league, and what's your take? What's your thought?
No, I've not heard about it, but isn't that what land was supposed to do though? Bring value to these older cards.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it has, right? But there's also a certain subsect of folks that just have no interest in land. All they want to do is play. And if you're stuck in, if you've got alphas and betas and Untamed, you're stuck in wild playing bots. It's just not a fun experience.
So is that the thing, is that they want to make that a no bot league as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the
Yeah.
SPS distribution would that have to be, split again, or they would have other types of rewards?
Yeah, the
I guess
idea
that
is
would
that
be
it
the
would get
question.
split again.
Yeah.
I mean,
You don't think
there's
that?
already a new proposal that is kind of brewing around, so ranked battle rewards is currently split between wild and modern, which is why the rewards for battles in modern is so much greater than wild, because it's a smaller number of players pulling from the pool. Where that equality does not exist is in the chest rewards. So the chests that you're pulling from wild are going to be just as likely to hit the same numbers as those in modern. So they're talking about it, adjusting the reward pools in chests as well. So I think once that happens and we get a real glimpse of we'll start seeing those big jackpots again if that happens. Where I was talking to Stever yesterday. I think he said that he pulled a jackpot SPS chest of 70K SPS, which is just absurd. I hit a jackpot once, quote unquote jackpot, and I think it was 3 or 4,000 SPS, and I was having a heyday. 70K in one chest. That's half of my stake almost.
Yeah, it's all my stake pretty much almost. Yeah.
He pulled out wild.
I don't know. I think it was definitely when in the
the
early
chests
days
don't
of
discriminate
SPS.
really, right? So they don't. It could have been end of season. It could have been a daily. It's not sure whether he could have got some of those from. I know he plays. I know, so he could have gotten some of those. Points from playing. Some of maybe some of it from his bot playing in wild. Like who knows? Yeah.
But it definitely did happen. We used to see kind of periodic images of folks pulling those 4 or 5 digit SPS reward chests, and you just don't see those hardly at all anymore. So I think it was the early days when SPS first got introduced as the token that was being rewarded.
I pulled one I think it was like I don't remember what it was like 5 or I just remember it was like end of season and I didn't really look at the SPS because I don't didn't usually pay too much attention to it, and then I had looked on like Splex or something, and it's like your end of season value was like $150. Like wait, what happened? I had to go back and look at oh crap, I pulled like 6,000-7,000 SPS out of one chest or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think little moves like that I think will do long-term great things for maintaining the card values for folks that are coming in and buying stuff like Rebellion and the next set. And it's encouraging to see. Matt had the very conservative number of 1.5 million Rebellion packs being sold. That extends the runway for a long enough period of time to where we don't need to worry about Splinterlands or Steam Monsters closing up shop and turning the lights off. And we're already more than halfway and under 2 months of Rebellion being available on shelves. And something else that Joey called out yesterday that I thought was interesting was he mentioned that they've got the next 5 sets scripted. 5. Whoa. So that's they're not planning on going anywhere, which again is encouraging. So he's obviously privy to information that none of us are able to get eyes and ears on. But the fact that he obviously reports to a boss, and Nate had him script out the next five sets of what does this narrative backbone look like, and where is the story going? So I think there's
that includes mini sets or the big sets.
I think it's the core sets.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're looking years ahead, and
good.
Yeah, it's encouraging.
What kind of because I'm part of the old school like Chaos Legion cards, you're still your main dudes is obviously what's it? Dr. Blight must still be churning it up, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about Dr. Blight specifically yesterday, and I'm gonna call out Mango and Tails and Stever to some extent. We're saying that Dr. Blight isn't as relevant as he was. I think with the advent of stuff like Grim Bardoon, who's immune and void, and a very strong counter to something like Dr. Blight, there is some weight to that argument. But then I proceeded to beat, I think, 2 or 3 teams in a row with Dr. Blight as like the cornerstone of my team. So yeah, and to answer your question, man, I think Chaos Legion, like Hep said earlier, Chaos Legion, a full set of Chaos Legion and some key Rift Watchers cards can keep you super competitive up into the higher ranks. The summoners, by far and away, are the dawns of ranked play at the moment.
Yeah.
There's one or two Rebellion summoners that are key, but for the most part, it's Yasik, Passivulus. Lily is really stealing the show.
Did you say Passivulus?
Passivulus is a boss. Yeah.
Yeah. I use
Whoa.
Passivulus all the time now.
Why? What's changed to? Because Passivulus was the just like the one that was like pushed to the side.
The redheaded stepchild of the legendary summoners. It's funny now, because I almost never play, and I'm gonna blank on his name. What's the life summoner? I almost Wraith. I almost never play Wraith anymore. Yeah,
Wraith gets a ton of play in the higher leagues, I think.
Does he? I mean, I probably should be playing him more, but I don't. But like, they put that Coastal Sentry reward card in with the piercing and double strike and that high melee damage. And then as soon as everybody started to get that leveled up, you started to realize that putting, that guy behind a good tank up front, like a Daemon Shark or even a Bakjira or, depending on what the play is, something else. But yeah, so it's that just has turned into a monster play. Yeah, because you can just go through you just do a lot of melee damage and just rip through someone's tanks, which is great. And they even put a new reach rule set in, which actually is interesting. I haven't seen it too much, but so there's a rule set now where every card will get reach, which is pretty cool because then you can use it in that card or in other situations as well. But yeah, I mean that's been big. I mean, I don't know what cards do you use from Chaos Legion? I probably, if we're counting the rewards, those rewards. I mean, I don't know if I want to say not counting the Soulbound rewards cards because those cards seem like they're pretty powerful, and I think people use those cards all the time. But from like the core set of Chaos Legion, or even like the first set of rewards cards, I'm probably using, let's see, Deep Lurker a lot.
The slip spawn. The slip spawn is super meta still. Immortalis is
so
he's still one of the best of the bunch.
Price, right? Like it's like $15 per BCX.
Oh
yeah,
I hadn't seen that. Archimus is another great card from Chaos Legion. The force field stuff is just a really big counter. There's so many heavy hitters.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot bigger in Diamond, where everybody kind of gets, a lot of them start to get that bump up where, a lot of your melee attacks are getting to 5, whereas it's not as effective in Gold because a lot of people are still at 4. Yeah. Chaos Dragon. I'd say Chaos Dragon is pretty universally played, especially now because you have Lily. So Scattershot is a bigger advantage in a lot of rule sets. So yeah, Void Dragon I play a lot. Yeah.
Is Death still your favorite, or both of your favorites?
Probably not. Not right now. Not since Rebellion came out. I feel like Death didn't get the love that we were looking for. I mean, when Astral Entity came out, I played Death, was able to play Death more. But yeah, I feel like I'm playing. You still play a lot of water. I'm playing way more life than I used to. I'm even playing a little bit more fire now. I'm finally starting to get on that train where I'm starting to use Yasik some more. Yeah.
Yes, Wascal. Death is still my favorite. It's yeah, I managed to, so probably about a year ago, I managed to find a walk of it had dipped down to $300, something like that. It was the lowest it had ever been. I bought it. The market seemed to respond a little bit and prices started going back up. I sold it for maybe $650, $700, something like that. And at that point I maxed out my Dr. Blight and maxed out a couple of other cards. And then Waka has subsequently dipped to $200. So I traded. Shout out to Marshall Garute,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
a guildie. I gave him $200 in SPS for a Waka, and man, yeah, Rebellion has provided some cards that really gave Waka some legs, and yeah, there's just some fun sneaky plays. I really like the new Death Summoner for Rebellion. He gives two guys Reflection Shield.
Mm.
Um, so a classic example is Magic Reflect rule set. Dr. Blight is a killer. Nobody's expecting Dr. Blight, and you toss him with some Reflection Shield, all of a sudden he's
Yeah.
MVP. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, I think Death. I would have liked to have seen Rebellion offer a little bit of a different approach to Death, but I don't think they did Death as dirty as Hep is making it sound. And I'm hopeful that the Legendary Summoner is I think Astral Entity is still one of my favorite
Yeah, it's still
Chaos
really
Legion
good.
summoners. Um, it's tough to play Death with when you're expecting a big Magic play. There's not really a super strong counter I mean, Thaddeus Brute is solid, but not great. So there's some stuff where I feel like Death is easily the best and most fun play to put on the board.
It's good. I mean, I I feel like with the legendary, the big legendary, the 13 mana one, the Barash Kukor. I gotta like I should have asked Joey. Like I want need like a phonetic pronunciation of all these cards' names. That should be something like
They should toss the IPA on the lore sheet.
seriously. I feel like I wish he'd had like maybe a little more health than just the seven. I don't know, but it's a good card. It's yeah. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like the cards are in death are not good. They're definitely probably good. They're as good as I think a lot of them. But I just like I don't know. I wanted to be a little bit better. Some cards I thought were good when they first came out, and I just don't use them as much. Like the Wailing Wraith. I don't know. I just feel like I was going to use that card a lot more than I end up doing, and maybe that's my fault for not using it properly. But yeah, I just don't. I can't seem to fit it in. Um,
He's slow.
yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah.
He's
Some
slow.
of the stuff is slow. Yeah, and like we talked about this before, Django's like the Chaos Jailer. That it's a slower card, but then it has slow on it, and so it's like you don't want to use it in reverse speed rule sets. Um, yeah, it's that's a thing too. It's also like there's just so many cards and so many abilities and different rule sets now where it's I feel like it's hard to kind of keep everything in perspective when you're trying to pick a team within 2 minutes. It can get tricky.
Mm.
Well,
So
Wascal, man, I gotta tell you, it's I miss challenging, playing, running against you. Do you? I know you're busy, so it's not like it's not for a lack of interest in the game that you're not very present these days. What would it take to get you back on the ranked manual battlefield? I mean, aside from time.
yeah, it's just time. That's all it is, man. Um, I don't know. I just kind of probably would feel that um I would it's just that thing. I'm just thinking I'm gonna lose more than I win, and then I just cane my can't I've not played for so long, but the is it the energy that you are allowed to use, and then I think that's what it is. I think I was just thinking then about um just starting up challenging you again in the evenings or something like that, because I do like now you're talking about it, I love the game, but it's just that when you play it and you just keep losing, 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 and I just lose the ability to win SPS and I keep going down. It's just that is another factor that would probably stop me from going into modern ranked.
Well, I want to know, Jangles, do you know what the ratio of SBS rewards are in Diamond to Modern to Wild?
No, but I could find out. I mean, Wascal, I would have to assume that you haven't played um modern ranked in a long time, so you're probably back in what, bronze, novice?
I don't know. I looked the other day, actually. I'm sure I was on gold.
Maybe it just dropped you
Yeah.
Might not
one
drop
league.
you more than one league. That's
I
the
mean,
thing. I mean, so I could
gold is
tell
the
you,
sweet spot, man.
yeah, I can get um between like five and depending on if it's like I'm hitting all the, cards for the daily rule set and with gold cards and stuff too. I've sometimes gotten like 10 or over 10 SPS in a win for in
Wow.
Gold League. Um
Yeah, so
Mm.
just pulled up the pools, and Diamond Modern versus Wild is about 2x,
okay.
2.5x at the top, which doesn't seem, gold is still, look at that, at the tippy top of Gold Wild, it's just under zero point 0.7 SPS. At the tippy top of Gold Modern, it's four and a
Yeah.
half SPS. That's a big multiplier.
Yeah, so that's the thing is that multiplier that's huge. So it's like you could win only one or two games a day and still do better. Um at least kind of where I'm sitting. Um,
You mean like comes to that, you will get more for one win in ranked play in sorry, in wild than you would do in modern in
No, no,
di
no. Other way around. So
okay.
modern diamond is 2x wild diamonds, and modern gold is 9x, 8x gold wild. But you're still earning more in modern gold than you are in modern diamond, which is crazy.
You're earning more in modern gold.
Yeah, so if
and in
you
Diamond,
play,
really? Wait, is that what that said?
yeah.
Why is
So
that? Is that
for
just
so oh no, sorry about that. No. So it's close. So the top of gold is 4.5, 4.6, and the top of diamond is 4.62.
how is that?
So there's just the
Is
the
there
volume
different
of
rewards?
players in diamond.
Is there just for, oh, so there's different rewards pools per league? They
Yeah,
split
I
the
think
rewards
so.
pools up per league, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Wow, I didn't realize there's that many more players in Diamond than there are in Gold. Um,
Yeah,
Hmm.
so a couple wins in modern gold is worth uh you know 2-3x the wins in wild diamond for you, Wasco.
Hmm. Yeah.
Especially if you run
Yeah.
into Hep, you get ego tokens for that one.
Maybe I should start the engines up again. Just have a little blast. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would just, if it was kind of I wouldn't use up so much energy. If I could just play limitless like it was in the old days, it would be great. But I can understand why that's not possible with all they nerfing the bots. That's probably like one thing as well. I kind of felt sometimes they nerfed players just so they could nerf the bots as well. But I don't know. If I was Matt's, that's the sensible thing to do, right?
hmm,
Well, he did it as a product of the community pushing, right? Like those were community
yeah.
proposals. Um,
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not even
for
sure if he or the team, really wanted to even do it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's definitely, I wouldn't go back to how it was before. It was not fun trying to play manually. It was purely DeFi, right? You might as well just stake your cards and get a return. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
Took the fun element completely out of the equation. Um,
You had to be a glutton for punishment like me to
Stick
still
it
be out
out.
there trying to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
how's the battle royales going? What's the plans for that? Is it going to be like a weekly affair, a monthly affair, or?
um, I mean, in my mind, and I'd love to do it a couple times a month on non town hall weeks. I think there's just a big gap since Splinterlands TV got shut down, and
Mm,
we've been put in the very fortunate situation of meeting and developing friendships with a whole slew of big personalities in the game with the right mind for strategy and gameplay talk, and um yeah, it was
yeah.
just shook the brain bush, and that's what landed in my lap, and it's been fun, man. I think the uh for a long time, Wascal, I know you and I, before I moved back down south, we were talking about doing something like maybe a Splinterlands TV segment or doing some challenge stuff. So uh
Yeah.
this is kind of a product of those discussions, and it took a long time, and I don't know if twice a month is sustainable or feasible, but um there's not as much involvement, at least from my side, when churning out a podcast episode is a little bit more uh of a labor of love to put the episode on the airwaves, whereas this, you just push a button, go live, and YouTube
Yeah.
does all the legwork, and um
Uh,
yeah,
you can
it's
also
super
go
casual.
live on X now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You could do YouTube and X at the same time.
I don't know if you can do, because
I don't know if you can
with
do both.
Zoom we go live to YouTube through Zoom. I don't know if I can do
Do both or
Zoom
not, or yeah.
to X.
Well, the guy I follow on YouTube, James, he often says he's live on X and live on YouTube.
I wonder if
Hmm.
he does it through Zoom. Do you know?
Yeah, don't know, don't know.
Mm.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's fun, man. It's
Yeah, I really
our
like it. I
second
think
one.
it's a brilliant idea. And it just kind of turned out great. Yeah, where like you, Django said, like we have enough people that, if we can get a couple people to join us, and yeah, I just had so much fun, doing it. And yeah, like you said, I know, Django does all the work to like do all the editing and post all this stuff. But yeah, it's kind of like you don't have to like, there's no pressure with what questions are you going to ask or thinking about what you want to talk about and stuff like that. It's kind of like, oh, we can just go and jump in and play the game. And it's fun to just kind of like have a bunch of people just kind of trash talking the whole time you're not playing. And, we like talked about great stuff. Like I'm really excited to go. I'm sad I missed last night, and I'm excited to kind of go. I'm going to rewatch it and see, what happened, what everybody said. And who joined. And yeah, if there's anybody out there listening, if you haven't been invited already and want to join, like definitely hit us up on Discord. We'll get you an invite. And yeah, I feel people aren't I was nervous too, because I 2 weeks ago I was like, oh man, these guys, I'm gonna get my butt kicked. But I think being the only one who plays in gold has definitely given me at least a little bit of an advantage that I could use that for my benefit, where I'm a little more attuned to that. But yeah, I mean, I hope people I know because Keys jumped on. I don't know if Keys popped in last night, but I know he jumped on the first time. Was like, oh man, I don't want to get my butt kicked on here by people. Like kind of joking around, but then he did kind of leave before we got around to him. But hopefully people aren't too afraid to lose, because yeah, if I can sneak a couple wins off of these guys, then anybody can.
Man, Hep, you talk a big game when the cameras are off, and look at you being serving up humble pie when the mic is on.
Never. What was your
Uh,
record in this brawl, by the way, Jangles? Just
oh, 500.
yeah,
3-3. I think I had two back to basics, and I had a really tough one with so I've over the last handful of brawls, I've taken Fray 14, which is new for me. And we've managed to run into Iron Faith, which is Virus, Rogue, Sinister, Tails, Lorcus, a good group of players. And Virus's home is also Fray 14. So I think I'm either 2-2 or 1-2. I don't remember how many times we faced off with them since I took over Fray 14, but I did have an interesting rule set with Virus, and he made the better play. I actually tried to do the Rekla Reflection Shield. I think it was magic only, cripple, magic reflect. And it was close, but yeah, it went his way.
Because the reflection shield doesn't prevent the cripple, right? So it kind of negates that a little bit, right?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't negate the cripple, but you don't get crippled on.
Oh, you don't get crippled on a reflect anyway.
On a reflect, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Which would be cool. That could be a way to boost Dallin stock for sure. I'm reaching for it, man. I'm reaching.
I know.
Yeah,
I was hoping we were going to get something.
Boost Dallin stock.
I know.
I will tell you guys, we did so shout out to Team PH Demore and Mango. They were both on yesterday, and over the weekend they ran a sealed tournament. And what this is, the way that they've constructed it is, I think we had eight players, and you go in with I think maybe not all the commons and rares from Chaos Legion, but you go in with an equal footing. Everybody has access to the rare summoners. Everybody has access to the same maybe 20 cards. And then they do a draft for 50 additional Chaos Legion cards. So it's like, I forget how they divided it up. Maybe 20 commons, 15 rares, 10 epics, and a handful of legendaries. And one of the guys on Team PH is a dev, and he's built this amazing tool that allows you to say, I want X number of each rarity from this particular set. You push a button and 50 cards are randomly selected off the rental market. So you go into the tournament with 20 fixed cards and then 55 random cards. And it was just a really fun exercise of strategy, because you're reaching for cards that you don't have access to. You don't know necessarily what the opposing team has access to. So it was a lot of fun. I think they're going to be doing more and more frequently in the future, this kind of tourney.
How was he able to get that set up like that? Like, how was he able to kind of get that rule set sort of set up like that?
What rule set? What do you mean?
Or like you say, how do you like limit people's access to cards that they had in their hands?
So they created 8 alt accounts. And
okay.
Each of these accounts had owned that certain number 20 Chaos Legion cards, and then we were given the posting key for that particular account to log in and play. Yeah. It was.
I see.
Yeah, it was.
It was just. I was wondering. So you had this set. They had to set it up as like dummy accounts.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the tool is what was really exciting to me is just seeing that people are able to create this sort of draft mode tool, and it was literally one click. It took maybe 2 minutes for Demore to set up the parameters of what was going to be selected from the rental market, and then click, all of these cards are rented. And yeah, it was very cool.
Pick which one you wanted, and they delegated it out to you. It was rented to you, or
yeah, it was completely, as far as the selection process, it was random. So that was
random. It wasn't like a draft. It was just like a random assignment.
Correct.
Okay.
I would like to see them kind of take the draft approach moving forward, but for the sake of time, obviously that would be much more intensive for, maybe that's something that could be done off air and offline, and that's your deck for the next couple of tournaments, sort of thing.
Yeah, you
But
have to kind of do that where it's like, all right, you got to make your selection within X amount of time, and um, yeah, maybe that's like the week leading up to the tournament is like you got to make your draft picks, and um, then it goes to like you do the tournament in those 2 days or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does everyone have to be online at the same time, or is it like a 24-hour tournament?
Yeah, so we were all online. It was a live tournament, and it was still leveraging the in-game challenge system. Um, yeah, but yeah, shout out to those guys and kudos to
That's
them
awesome.
for innovating on, I think that sort of stuff is really more in line with what esports should
Yeah.
be for something like a TCG. So it was fun to participate. And it was Virus and Fat Jimmy's Scholar. I got to meet him, Hyde.
Oh, nice.
I beat Virus in the semifinal and went to the final and played Hyde. And yeah, I mean, the one downside is like I think we had a Poison Earthquake match as the final match, and he had access to Uriel. I did not, and that was all she wrote. So
Yeah.
I think the draft would like a traditional draft would kind of even the playing field with that respect. But generally, it was still a lot of fun.
Did you like what did they ask for feedback? Did everyone in the group send feedback and that?
Yeah, so we had a voice chat after the tournament, talked for a good 20-30 minutes, and um, everybody gave their 2 cents, and how can we improve this moving forward, and
Nice.
yeah, and everybody got paid out. I think that if you came in last place, you still got maybe a pack of cards, um, and the top guy Hyde, I think he got, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10,000 DEC. I got maybe 6,000 DEC, which uh, paid for my entrance. I think I paid 5,000 DEC to play. Um,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I was wondering. So okay, so basically just so what's the maximum? Is it eight is max? That's what they want. So eight as
Uh,
soon as you and
I
it's
don't I don't know. I think it's certainly doable with more players.
mm,
Um, I think they tried to limit. I think the number one issue was it was pretty much 2 hours, 2.5 hours of actual playing. And I think the one area where things could be sped up is you actually run the tournament off of live streaming, and then whoever's commentating and hosting the show can like pick and choose key battles and watch them for the first time, sort of thing, and that way you
mm,
get genuine reactions. You're responding in real time to what's happening in the battle. So I think there is some opportunity for improvement, but yeah, generally it's innovative, it's fun.
yeah,
I think everybody stuck around the whole time, and feedback was generally really positive.
Yeah, that sounds
nice.
awesome.
Was it a live tournament as well? Did they stream it?
So we did the challenge. Like I would do the challenge on um the background. We started the challenge because the draft took place for the first, I don't know, 15-20 minutes of the show. So the first two teams that were drafted were matched up together. So by the time that the draft ended, we would have finished our round of battles to give the hosts of the show content to show. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, they showed every single battle. So it took yeah, it was probably a bit longer than it could have been.
yeah.
Um,
But for a first time, it sounds like it was still a success, right?
yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I told him holler at me next time. I'll definitely be keen to play again. It was
It
fun.
just shows like this, it's just always been the same with this community, right? So many, like how many things have just happened as a result of the community, right? Just so innovative. Just people are just in this community are amazing that they can just, they're willing just to do more than what is there, right? Not just stick with what is here, just keep pushing it, pushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, let's shift gears a little bit. So let's talk about what Aggie's doing. So he's got the killer whales thing. I don't know if you've seen that, Wascal. Has that come across your purview yet?
Does that anything to do with moon carts?
Potentially, I don't know. So it's like the general idea of the show, at least as far as I gather, is it's essentially Shark Tank for crypto related stuff. And Aggie is featured on one of the episodes, potentially pitching Splinterlands and or Invenium stuff. I guess Splinterlands is probably a for sure, because he's been posting in Mavs chat, which is clearly Splinterlands first. But I think the show airs as soon as this week. I think you've got to pay for you guys can Google it, Killer Whales TV show. I think they're running it on their own kind of streaming platform. I think it's hello.one or something like that, if you want to check it out.
Yeah, so like hello.one, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's coming to Apple TV in a couple of weeks. So who would have thunk it? Aggie's going to be on Apple TV here, and I think this time next month it moves over to being available for viewing on Apple TV. So I was just going to cancel my Apple TV subscription. I'm going to hold out a little bit longer and definitely watch that show.
Interesting.
yeah.
Is that the episode 3? Maybe it says coming February
Yes.
22nd.
Correct. Yeah, episode
Okay.
3. Yeah, so he's doing that, and then the Invenium stuff. I don't know if either of you guys have taken a look at what Aggie's doing over there. I know he has been making a big push with moon carts, and I know that they just hired Weirdbeard over there. So shout out to Weirdbeard. Good to see him. Kind of staying in the ecosystem and still contributing with Aggie. I think they complement each other well, and Weirdbeard is back in his, as far as I know, kind of more initial role of, providing litmus tests for the community and what is the community after, and where's sentiment, and providing that channel of communication between community and team. And Weirdbeard's definitely good at that. So have you guys kept eyes on Invenium and or moon carts, and have you guys played moon carts at all?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
I was I saw him on X, and I kind of had a look at it. It didn't really look like the sort of game that I would be personally interested in. But I think, like you said before, right, if something's just you can just, like my boy could just play that quite happily, right? Like he's banging to Mario Kart. So like have you like is it like can you level up your cart? Like can you obviously you can earn some crypto, right? Have you kind of looked into that aspect of it?
All of the above. Yeah, so you can level up your driver, you can level up your cart, you can level up components of your cart, like your tires, your spoiler, your what is your boost, where do you have access to like weapons or shields, or you can drop like, I guess it's equivalent to the banana peel in Mario Kart. You can
Nice.
drop a tin of oil behind you, and it's fun, man. I did play. I reached out to Aggie. He sent me a link to the alpha, and played a couple times. It looks good. I gotta say, it's like I said earlier, it's immediately accessible, which I think it speaks volumes to what Invenium is trying to do and leverage the Unity platform for developing games. And if they can continue, kind of churning out games like that are, I heard Aggie mention something about, there's no reason why we wouldn't be able to have chess and checkers and, these traditional board games with a Web3 component tied in, and a way to earn. So I think the upside is massive on the arcade colony side of the business. And yeah.
What is
So-
the website for that?
So
Um, I don't know.
So is this what he is going on Killer Whales, the TV show for? Like to promote?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think potentially Splinterlands I think is definitely in the conversation. Like I said, he's been posting that in map chat. And I don't think he would be doing that if Splinterlands is not mentioned. But yeah, we'll see.
Very interesting.
Is there like a separate Discord for Invenium and Arcade Colony? I haven't kept up with it much at all.
There is a separate Discord for Arcade Colony. I will share it to you now.
Yeah, because I've been wanting to check it out. I just haven't been able to.
So is Mooncards up and running now? You can actually start to play it and earn from it.
You can play the alpha. So I asked Aggie put out the invite for anybody who's willing to play to reach out to him directly. I don't know if he's got unique URLs available for everybody or if he's actually distributing the same URL to everybody, but he did make me sign a verbal NDA not to pass forward the URL that I received. So I will honor my word and tell you guys to
Whistle Dixie.
PTO.
Turn over what?
Please turn over your Discord and go ask Aggie yourself.
So
but yeah, man.
Is Mooncarts SPS related at all, or has it just got its own separate token?
I think DEC is related. I don't think SPS is, but when I was playing, there's there's a couple of tokens that are pictured at the top of the screen, and I'm not 100% certain, so don't quote me on that, but it does look like DEC is involved. SPS is an indirect beneficiary of the airdrop. I think the snapshot gets taken here in a couple of weeks, and I think it's a 20-year airdrop for Arcade Colony.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it's 20 years, and I think it's some absurd number like 21 billion tokens over that time frame. The biggest route to collecting on that airdrop is through GLX. But yeah, I think we've all kind of spoken our piece about GLS and what's happening with that game. It's, lack of a better term, I think it's still dog shit. I know there's some folks out there that really enjoy it, and more power to you if you are one of them. Actually, the last time, so we had Tails on just before Christmas, just around Christmas, and shout out to Dr. Zoom. He reached out to me directly and said that he's loving GLS and has a lot of fun playing the game, and has put out some videos of gameplay and talk strategy and that sort of stuff. So there are folks that game resonates with. I'm not one of them. But yeah, that is the cleanest route to cleaning up as much as possible with the Arcade Colony. I think the token is called Colony.
Yes, what staking GLX?
Yeah. But SPS is a beneficiary of their job as well.
GLX isn't on CoinGecko. I've always kept trying to look for it.
It probably won't be. I'm sure it won't be listed.
Wonder why though? Like why would it not be?
You've got to have
certain market cap
volume. I think trading volume is one thing that they look at. I mean, from my understanding of how stuff gets listed on CoinGecko or any of those other websites, it's like kind of like they're not going to just list everything, especially if you're not on like any central exchanges. And so like something that's like just on the smaller token on the Hive blockchain probably doesn't have like the transaction volume that they're interested in having, devoting any resources to keeping an eye on. So yeah, that's my understanding of how those things work.
GLX has 4x'd since that announcement.
Wow.
That
Oh,
announcement was unfortunately right after my last unstake and sale of GLX. I'm not feeling any hurry to go back and buy back in, especially given that it was a 4x from when I sold. Um, and despite a 4x, it's still at point oh oh, almost 0.006. When I sold, I think it was 0.0015 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, generally, I think the Invenium stuff and the project that Aggie's currently working on is great for Hive. Um, I don't know of any other games that are quite taking that approach, or any other gaming studio that is taking that sort of approach to Web3. And we had Aggie on Hep, I guess it was almost a year ago as well, and he was talking about his grand vision for Arcade Colony. And we're starting to get a pretty good glimpse of what that actually looks like.
Yeah.
And it looks promising.
you mean you think it's good the way they're going in terms of what like the games they're putting out, like the easy like playability of it, you mean? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it comes down to accessibility. Like it's because Splinterlands feels very Web3, right? Like it doesn't have the aesthetic of a Web2 game. And like we were talking about, it's a lot of folks come hunting for returns. Whereas something like Moon Carts, it feels very Web2. It's a racing game. You can customize your car, you can customize your driver. You get matched up with random opponents, random racers, and you race, and it's done in a minute and a half.
Mm.
And then you can go back to the drawing board and customize more stuff. And it operates very similarly. Like you're buying packs of cards. I don't know what is in the packs, whether it's you have access to drivers and cars and all the components, or if it's just components. And yeah, I don't know what all of that looks like, but yeah, you're 100% able to earn. There's tokens like thrown throughout the track, and you can collect them as you're racing. I
Yeah.
think they reset every lap, so you're able to pick up multiple times, sort of thing.
Mm.
But yeah,
That's
I think
interesting.
your son, I think, would be yeah, he'd be in hog heaven playing something like Moon Carts. It's easy
Yeah.
peasy.
I wonder, like, have you guys been looking at any other games outside the Hive ecosystem at all? Because like this bull run, lots of projections are that it's going to be a big one for the gaming side of it all. But have you found anything? Any gems that you'd be interested in playing or investing in?
I'm not, I haven't really looked. Just money and time, kind
Yeah.
of devoted to Splinterlands. I have looked at, some other games, but I feel like for me, Splinterlands was kind of the game I was kind of looking for. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. And like I said before about I'm, you know, more worried about, getting into a game and spending more money and having it kind of die out. Whereas, here
Yeah.
I kind of know what I think the trajectory of the game is going to look like. I'm familiar with it. If it was something where you could play or maybe spend a little bit and play, and I know I feel like I hear all the time, in Discord, and different Discord things, people talking about, oh, check this game out, it's great, and you can earn this, and this is where I can get on the leaderboard with only spending this much. And
Mm.
it's like you hear that for like a couple weeks, and then a month later you can
Crickets.
ask somebody about it, and like, yeah, and they're like, no, I'm not even playing that anymore. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah. So I just feel like I've seen so many of those. So I've seen so many of those in the last couple years, and I'm kind of a little gun shy on that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I'm with
know.
you, Hep. I feel like my bet is made. My horses are 100% hitched as far as my gaming capacity, Web3 gaming capacity goes to Pretoria. Um, I have, I checked out Big Time a little bit. I wasn't. It looks fun. It is fun. I looked at Tails was talking about some uh I'm gonna blank on the name, but he just did a video on a World War II trading card game, which I
Oh,
think
uh,
Tails was pretty impressed with. Storm something Storm.
Axis
Um,
and Allies, one of my favorite board games ever. So maybe I'll check that out.
yeah, maybe it was Storm Warfare. That doesn't sound right. I don't know. Tails just posted a video on it. Check it out. He's got a link in there. You can jump off directly to the page site, um, the game site. But nah, generally I've like you have. I feel like my as much financial deposits that I'm going to put into gaming is tied into Splinterlands, and it's got they've proved their perseverance. It's the game
yeah,
is tried and true. There's been multiple bear markets, and I feel like the community is with the game through thick and thin, and now more than ever. And I know you and I have talked about this personally. Wascal is, I think, the worst time to jump ship, and something that keeps coming into my mind whenever that thought may enter my mind is, Azurcon called out, very specifically, the smaller market caps are the ones where it doesn't take a whole lot to move that needle in a significant way. We saw
Yeah.
SPS jump up to the better part of 4 cents, and um,
Yeah, heck, even GLX 4x.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yeah. I think it probably says a lot about the community, right? That people like you that are willing to kind of, just keep going. But it's not just like trudging through the mud or anything. It's like you
Yeah.
actually kind of enjoy the game, the community, and yeah,
Yeah, one thing I learned like really early on, especially in crypto, and just something, a lesson I've always, a phrase I've always heard in life is like, you never throw good money after bad money. Like avoid that sunk cost fallacy. And I don't feel like that here, even though it's not like I've made a lot of money here or made any money here even. I think it was something when I got into it, I was like, well, this could be fun and this could be a cool way to get more into crypto and learn about crypto. And this looks like a fun game. And, if I lose money on it, at least I'm playing a game. I'd be losing money on Web2 games if I'd be buying different games and trying them out. And, um, or even like just like regular like computer games or Xbox, PlayStation games. Um, yeah, and so maybe I kind of had that mindset going in too, whereas like I was okay with it. I was at peace with it. I've lost money in other crypto things and had nothing to show but like feeling really stupid about investing in it in the first place. So
at
yeah,
least you're having
I don't
fun.
know. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. At least I'm having fun and like get to hang out with cool people. I get to, make cool friends like you guys and like that, that I think it's awesome. So yeah, I don't want to make it seem like, oh, I'm just, I've sunk so much money into this game that I'm just, this is where I've got to stick with because it's make or break to get out of it. Where, it's not kind of not that attitude. It's just kind of like I like it
Play
here
with your
and I think the
bags.
game is fun. Yeah, yeah, and it's um, yeah, like Django said, you know, I feel like yeah, if this is we've seen so the worst of the bad end of what's going on through that last bear cycle that hey, the game could be even more fun if things start to go up, whereas if I jumped into a new game, I'd constantly be thinking, all right, is this how much am I really going to invest or how much time am I going to spend, like are things going to go up or are things just going to go down? I mean, I just think seeing so many, anytime a new coin really is issued, unless you just get tons of hype on it, like a meme coin. And I mean, when you look at even SBS, it's, I think a lot of games will probably follow this sort of model where, um, and we saw this with what was that game we were played to, like Gollum Overlord. I don't know if anybody's even logged into that thing in the last 6 months. I'm sure some
I'm
people
still
still play it,
playing.
right? But I don't know if you
I
guys
started playing again.
you started playing it. There you go.
Yeah.
So
I bailed
yeah,
on
I
the
mean, it's like
guild
one of those
too,
things
to
where,
answer your next question.
what's that?
I said I bailed on the guild too, to answer your next question.
I forgot we had that killed. Um, yeah, it's like one of those things where you like stuff, starts out high and it's always just going to go down at first, and then it hopefully you think it finds that spot where it kind of you know bottoms out and gets sustainable, and then maybe it goes back up from there. But yeah, that's the thing is like I'm fairly confident I know where the bottom of card values and SPS is, and
We hope.
yeah, I mean, right. I'm saying I'm fairly confident, my opinion, that yeah. And so like, yeah, if I got into a new game, I would kind of maybe I'd be like, you know what, I'm just gonna anything I can make, I'm just gonna sell and as much as I can to try to get, extract what value I can out of it now because it's gonna go down. And maybe
Yeah.
if I
Pump
like
that
it,
into
I'd stick back
Splinterlands.
around. Yeah, right, right. But that's it. Yeah, so that's the thing. And then like I'm just like I'm, at that point, it's like, all right, how much money, are you really gonna get out of it if it's not something you really think can be around for the long haul, right? So yeah.
Well, I think a game fundamentally, just like think about all the games you've just mentioned, the ones I've tried out. It's like fundamentally, is the game fun? And Splinterlands is fun when you play it, right? But if I think about all the games we've just mentioned, they just don't have that draw. Like at the beginning, yeah, I'm just, I remember like with Go, was like, I really love this game. I'm really bang into it. Just like, just like mining. And then after a while, it's just like, oh, because it just kept becoming like a chore. Like
It's a
for me,
chore, yeah, repetitive
yeah.
task games, yeah.
And then just, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it just lost the fun factor. But yeah, people can just keep doing it. Even I tried, the other one, it's Splinterlands related, but you can use the same
Splinter
card.
Forge?
Yeah, like I was doing that, and then I think it was so like it just used the same team again and again and again. I was just trying to extract, and maybe that's just what it is. If you're just doing something just for the sole purpose to extract, and then it's just not fun.
Yeah.
So that's why yeah,
Yeah,
I was just
I could credit to those guys for trying to leverage the Splinterlands assets
yeah.
on another game, but yeah, I could never find the fun factor in Splinter Forge. So Wasco, you asked about other games that we're potentially playing, looking into. Is there something that's got your eye in terms of ticking the
Yeah.
boxes, fun factor and growth
Um,
and all the rest?
it's just one called Decimated, and it's like a post-apocalypse world. And
Is it on Soul?
it's on the Solana ecosystem. They've got the token. I've listened to a few AMAs. They've got some good backing. I haven't kind of dipped my toe into buying the token yet. Um, and it's still in alpha, but it's won awards. It's got good reviews. The graphics look amazing. So you kind of like, you're like scavenger. You can choose your character, scavenger. You can be part of the police force, but what I kind of liked about it as well is that you can buy your own apartment. I don't think literally buy it because I think you just kind of find it or whatever, and then you can, build it up sort of thing. So there's that factor to it, but that's one I'm looking at. The token is like similar price to Splinterlands at the moment, but it doesn't really mean anything, does it? But yeah, I'm just interested because yeah, it's just. But then that's the thing. I'm just thinking as a financially, just like can I make money from it? And because I don't have the time to do it, right? But so that's just one I'm looking at because I'm just thinking on the Solana ecosystem, there's going to be so many eyes on it. There's so many eyes on, people are just, investing in Solana so much, I think I said to you as well, like using like MetaMask and then their Solana's equivalent, it's called Jupiter. Oh man, it's just heaven, heaven. You can do limit orders, you can do DCA with it, you can yeah, just swap. Yeah, it's just and it's the fees. That's the key as well, right? It's like I think I pay like 3 cents every time I do any swapping or any limit orders. So yeah,
You,
that's
you know
why.
you pay no fees on Hive, right?
This is true. This is true. What can you buy? What you can buy? What I buy on high and the Solana one. But yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. That is a good
Is this
point.
game playable? I was just like checking it out. I mean, it seems I see that it's built on the Unreal Engine, which is a game that's pretty used for a lot of games. So yeah, have you played or have you said you've played this or is it just
No,
kind of
I'm,
in
it's still in alpha. I think to actually start playing it, you need to be kind of quite prominent in the Discord. Like, you have to kind of build up your levels in Discord. And I was doing that, but it's just like, oh, I don't know. I'm just not really one for Discord to be chatting away and just like trying to make up conversation to level myself up. I'll just wait until it kind of comes on public access. It's supposed to be coming out possibly Q2,
Hmm,
suppose. But yeah.
Hmm.
interesting? Yeah,
Well,
it's weird. It's interesting because it says they have I'm seeing how it's like a Steam game
Yeah.
page too, which I didn't know.
Is it out the same Steam as Splinterlands or?
No, 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 no. Sorry, that's like the Steam, the game, like the where you can get like games piece on your
oh,
PC Steam account. You know what I'm talking about? Sorry.
the Steam gaming platform. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's kind of like a thing where you can have an account and you like buy games through it, and then you can kind of be able to download your games on any of your devices and stuff like that. I mean, I've had bought a lot of computer games on Steam. But yeah, which I didn't know that Steam, I thought Steam maybe had one of those things where it's like, um, they were like anti-crypto or against like Web3 stuff where they wouldn't list stuff that was Web3, but, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, it looks like this is kind of like a first person, watch some of the gameplay. So it's more like a first person shooter,
Yeah.
It's
Scavenging.
an
a
RPG,
third
right?
person shooter. No, it looks like it's a kind of like what's that, like Badlands or Fallout kind of thing where I don't
Hmm.
know if it's more of like an open world survival um game. Yeah.
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 Interesting.
But yeah,
Well,
like you guys say, like
Yeah.
you've like to, like all the commitment and time you've put into Splinterland, like to kind of jump onto another ship, it kind of just when you think about it, doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of it'll be a tough call and like who knows? Like I think you made a very good point there. Like 8 years? How many years has Splinterland's been going for? Or
this
was it
is
5,
5 years?
right? 5.
almost six,
Yeah, in a couple
six
months.
and yeah.
It was big. Well, that was like was it in April or May? I think maybe it was in May. That had the burning and the event and the anniversary and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Well,
Yeah, so
Wascal, whenever you're ready, man, uh, come back into the mix,
Yeah,
brother.
you got to stop jumping on once the FOMO hits. The trick is to get back in before the FOMO's hitting, so that way it's a better entry point, man.
you mean with my SBS or like buying cards?
All of it,
See
man.
all of the
Everything.
above.
Man, I'm keeping my eye on the occupied. The occupied land has definitely gone down. I can't see. To be honest, though, yeah, aren't they changing it where, like, with the transferring of grain? Are you going to be allowed to transfer from anywhere for free soon? Is that the
I
case?
think
I
they
think
they talked about it being potential. I don't think there's been commitment one way or the other. I think, my opinion, I think they should keep it as it is.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone into it with that expectation. Am I going to get refunded for all the grain that I've been transferring over? Because I've got one epic magical plot that I've got to transfer a literal shit ton of grain to every couple of weeks to pay for. Yeah, I think they should just keep it as is. But it would definitely encourage folks like me or like you, Wasco, or like you, Hep, to branch out of where we currently are and just
Mm.
look at good deals on land on the market. I mean, I can see both sides. I don't know if the plus side of encouraging more folks to go out and buy land is necessarily the right answer. I think other things like land surfing and the ancient ruins project should probably be prioritized in terms of encouraging more land related behavior and probably more successful longer term. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. How's Kithden these days? I still do have a plot in Kithden, actually.
I just want a totem fragment.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beauty.
The
Just did it then?
yeah, like 2 or 3 days ago. I'm gonna butcher his name, but the castle keep owner, Chiboulier, maybe it's French.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he's still giving kickbacks if you've got plots of land with 50K PP on them, and if you're in that status in that tier, then you qualify for a totem fragment raffle when he pulls one.
Oh,
But I got a kickback of I think a couple thousand grain plus I won the raffle for a totem fragment this time
I didn't know anything about that. So, what if you've got a plot in Kithden?
with 50K plus PP.
50K. I've got
Yeah.
50K.
Well,
Oh,
hop in.
They meant, sorry, I misheard. I thought you were saying DEC. Yes, I've got 50,000 DEC. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got the 50 PP, 50,000 PP. That's great.
yeah, it's cool. So
Yeah.
I think what Hep was calling out earlier, you mentioned the same, Wascal. The plot prices, I think, are very community driven. So if you're in a very active region, I think
Mm,
by association that plot is going to be more valuable. Um,
yeah, so definitely, I think they shouldn't change anything. But I think people have just been, yeah, buying with the sole purpose to kind of, be next to certain people, or like you say, with in terms of transferring grain. But
Yeah.
yeah. So you guys finished with your land plays? Are you kind of looking at adding, or that's it?
I need to like do more do more. I keep saying I'm gonna get another plot going, but then just keep buying more rebellion cards, especially with the new conflict system and trying to get points for that. And I was trying to, it's like kind of I'm gonna just miss out on getting I think I'm only gonna get two guaranteed airdrops. I'm gonna miss out. I really wanted to get it to at least three. Um I don't think I'm gonna get it this. Maybe I might be able to get three next conflict cycle. I'm not gonna get it this one. Yeah, so yeah, I've just been yeah, I even kind of went off schedule and put some more money in the game the other day because I wanted to buy up um uh bunch of rebellion cards. So yeah, I just kind of hopefully I'll get back around to land soon, but I don't know. I've got a long ways to go on get building up my rebellion deck before that happens.
Mm.
yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I think I'm done making moves on lands until the soul bounds unlock. and then I've got some gold foils that I will happily part ways with some vouchers and DEC for to move them over to land. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and, for the most part, Matt. I'm a small landholder. I got 6 plots ish. I think 7 plots. So just trying to maximize what's happening on my current plots is really the name of the game for me now. At least short term. I think longer term, I'd be open to it, but yeah, the focus for me is still the main course is gameplay. I think that's where I find the most fun and enjoyment.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
Yeah, I'd say I still think land, is great. I think long term land is going to be great. But yeah, I didn't have the cards. I didn't invest. I should have probably invested more. I mean, hindsight's always 2020, right? But I should have kind of invested more to get some of those cards when they were cheaper. Especially like those gold foil commons and rares to just stack on land and have more of that ready to go. But yeah.
Yeah.
I even like, I have 2 Rooney and I keep thinking like, should I put the other one? I have one on my occupied and it's like, should I, put the other one on something? But it's like, kind of like having it in
man,
the,
I miss my Rooney so much. I get torched
yeah,
by Rooney very often.
yeah,
If I happen to land on some good windfall of ETH, a Rooney would definitely be in my
yeah,
sights.
How
yeah,
much are they
man.
now? Is it
What's
still
that?
around the thousand buck
I haven't
level?
checked. I haven't
It's a lot.
checked.
I'll check right now.
I wish I had bought 5 or 6, but again, it's 2020. So at the
It's such,
time, 2 felt like enough.
it's such a great card, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
0.267,
which is close to 1,000. Yeah,
seven
I
hundred
think
bucks.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah,
That's a lot of rebellion cards.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd love to see what if they said like I mean, is Rooney technically part of Chaos Legion? What if they said like Rooney's gonna always be in modern, something like that? Um
Mm.
Man,
that would be
what I
dope.
would really love to see is Rooney is playable in ranked and on land. Uh,
Mm,
and I feel like there's still ways to leverage utility out of Rooney.
yeah.
Um, yeah, being in modern in perpetuity would be cool. Uh, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's such an expensive card, right? Like just to have it just on land, which is yeah, obviously great for your land, but long term, is it getting its full value? Feels like it's not.
You're saying
Well,
if it's not on land or
If it is on land, it feels like you're yeah, of course, you're getting it in, and who knows what SPS can be in the future, but at the moment it just feels like
well,
it's
it's doubling your pull of SPS on that one plot, right?
yeah.
yeah, but I
So
mean
instead of 24-25 a day, you'd be getting 12
12,
and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but
just
still
gotta how
thousand
many
bucks, $1,000, right?
Yeah, but
Well,
we
we
didn't
paid
pay that, right?
like a couple hundred, right? We paid because couldn't you what was it to get the whitelist spot? It was just like some
It was
vouchers and
250 bucks or something.
yeah, right?
oh
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, I
man.
don't know.
I remember I kicking myself now for not keeping the ETH, but the one that I minted, I turned around and sold for 1 ETH,
That's
which kind
right.
of blew my mind at the time because the floor was I don't know, 300 bucks. It was below mint for a long time. Um, and I turned around and of course put that money right back into Splinterlands and Rift Watchers and all the rest, and just had the one Rooney when I could have turned that into 4 or 5 or 6 Rooney. Um,
Ah, yeah.
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 Oh well. Hindsight.
Yeah.
Sweet
All right,
hands.
man. Well,
Yeah.
gentlemen, always a pleasure bringing back the
Wascal,
band.
great having you back, man.
Yeah, it's been great. I
Good
loved
hearing
it.
from you.
Yeah, I think maybe both of us can expect some traditional correspondence from Wasco following this episode with the little PTO dropped at the bottom. Well, man, I don't think I need to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Great to see you, here on the podcast, and for any of the newer listeners, this is the voice that you hear in the intro that you don't hear outside of the intro. This is Wascal, the co-founder of the People's Guild. We miss running episodes with you, man. It's standing open invite whenever you want to hop on. I know you're a busy guy in real life, and trying to juggle work and family and gaming stuff. So glad we were able to get you on, man.
Yeah, try to jump into a battle royale. We'll let you know. Make sure you get the invite. Swing by, get a match in, knock some of the rust off, and get back into some ranked modern play.
Yeah, I saw the beginning of it, and oh no, I don't know, maybe you were middle of it, but then I kind of moved it to the beginning. I was thinking, I was just thinking, should I just kind of, I was gonna say, yeah, I was just gonna ask, thinking, should I ask to join? I don't know how easy it would be to join, but is it kind of like you can just jump in, or it's kind of
Yeah, free for all, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
we just jump into the Zoom, and yeah, you're there, and then we shoot out the challenges, and yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that was the window. Yeah, soon I'll be back to my busy schedule again. But okay, well now I know.
Well, we got a day off on the 2 weeks from now, right? February
Yeah,
28th.
I'm up in
Your
Taipei
parents
though.
still here? Well,
Yeah,
hopefully it's an ongoing thing. I'm sure we'll find some time.
Yeah.
hopefully I think it's really good for people to see. The OGs playing and their tactics and.
Is that us? Is that us now?
No, I was talking about
Yeah.
Sinister. Yeah, it's
Steven,
probably
and
you guys
BB.
now, right?
2 years.
2 years.
We're past the 2 year mark. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it. Was it viruses? I like it. We're the chaos generation. So
Yeah.
that's our label.
Yeah, but no, thanks for having me on. I
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
it. Right.
All right, man. Well, for old time's sake, you wanna sign
Yeah.
us off, Wesco?
Take us out.
All right. Let's see if I can remember. Okay, for all of you who have been listening, you have been listening to
The People's Guild.